of stuff. The Four Farrellys by Percy French. In a small hotel in London, I was sitting down to dine when the waiter brought the register and asked me if I'd sign, and as I signed I saw a name that set my heart astir. A certain Francis Farrelly had signed the register. Now, I knew a lot of Farrellys, and out of all that crew I kept on sort of wondering, which Farrelly were you? So when I finished dinner I sat back in my chair, going round my native land to find which Farrelly you were. Although the keen-eyed Kerryman I met below Kenmare, who told me that when Ireland fought, the odds were never fair. If Cromwell had met Sarsfield or met O'Neill, it's not to Mr. Gladstone we'd be looking for appeal. Would have Ireland for the Irish, not a Saxon to be seen, and only Gaelic spoken in that house in College Green. Told me landlords were the devil, had their agents 10 times worse, and every sort of government for Ireland was a curse. Oh, if you're that Francis Farrelly, your dream has not come true, but slant ya, Francine, slant ya, for I like a man like you by. Were you the Francis Farrelly that often used to say, he'd like to drive them papishes from Derry walls away? The boy that used to bother me that Orange Lodge to join and thought that history started with the Battle of the Boyne. now, I was not all with you, Francie. Now, the Pope is not my friend, but still, poor man, I hope he'll die without that bloody end. And when you're cut from Kerry yourself and get to Kingdom Come, well, there's no use giving you a harp. You'll beat an orange drum. Oh man, you were a fighter. Of that I have no doubt, for I seen you one night in Belfast when the Antrim Road was out. And many's a time that evening I thought that you were dead. The way them papish paving stones was happen at your head. So, if you're that Francie Farrelly that comes from North Tyrone, well, here's looking to you, Francie, but now leave the Pope alone. Or you the Francis Farrelly that in my college days, for strolling on the Kingstown Pier, had such a curious craze? Do you mind them lovely sisters, the Bland and the Burnett? I know, I've not forgotten, and I don't think you forget that picnic on the Dargle, and the other at the Scalp, how my heart was palpitating. Hers wasn't, not a palp. Someone said you married money and maybe you were wise, but the gold you loved was in her hair and the diamonds in her eyes. But I like to think you married her and that you're with her yet. Ah, it was some militia officer that married the brunette, but the blonde one always loved you, and I knew you loved her too. So me blessing on you, Francis, and the blue sky over you. Or were you the Francie Farrelly I met so long ago in the bog below Belmullet in the county of Mayo? The long-legged freckled Francis with the deep-set wishful eyes that seemed to take their colour from the ever-changing skies, that put his flute together as I sketched the distant scene and played me planks to Kelly in the wakes of Inniskeen, and told me in the autumn he'd be sailing to the west to try to make his fortune and send money for the rest. And he asked me if I'd draw for him the place where he was born, and he'd hang it up and look at it and not feel so forlorn. And when I had it finished, you got up from where you sat and you said, well, you're the devil, and I can't say more than that. Oh, if you're that Francis Farrelly, your fortune may be small, but I'm thinking, Francis, I loved you best of all. And I never can forget you, though it's been so long ago, in the bog below Belmullet, in the county of Mayo.